Brandon, we go away and I have to like carry her bag. I have to drop her off at the front because she can't carry her bag.
Okay, that's not entirely true.
It's not entirely true.
It's half true. First off, my bag, which is on wheels, the one wheel broke. So it was like obnoxious trying to get this bag. So yes, he did drop me off because of the bag situation.
Did she tip you at least?
No.
No.
But she did complain when we got back that I parked so far away. Okay, everybody, we have a guest in. It's the second time coming in, Brandon Kness.
Yep.
Did I say that correct?
You got it.
Okay.
That was it.
We had a good time last time you were here, and this was Meg with us the last time too, or no?
No, it was just me and you. Yep.
So now it's really the Meg show that I'm bringing you in on, and I'm just here to kind of moderate and ask the questions.
I've gathered that from watching some of the other videos. So.
I'm not allowed to make Meg look bad. I can't give her a hard time. So Meg's got a new role, though, since you've been here last. She's taking on some new responsibility in the company.
So you're not just doing the remodeling stuff anymore?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going over to Remarkable as well, and I'm working alongside on Remarkable too.
Now, what are you doing with Remarkable? Are you doing like the going in and trying to buy houses side of things?
Tell him your role.
So the new role is CEO of Remarkable.
Oh, okay. Wow. Nice.
So she has a COO, right? And we're going to work to build it up a little bit.
Okay. That's awesome.
We don't know exactly what roles we're going to go, but we have a COO there.
No, I already have it mapped out.
You have it mapped out?
Yep. So we're making 4 key hires within the first 30 days. That's the goal of the new year.
Okay.
And that would be a dispo person, a data analyst person, a follow-up specialist, and then a second closer.
Now the data analyst person, does this also fall in line with marketing, or is it like a completely separate role?
Mm-hmm. No, but it falls in line with marketing.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a geek, right?
Yeah.
Like a engineer.
Basically,
I'm an engineer, but I'm not a geek.
We're looking for somebody that can really dive into the data, because now we have a good solid year of tracking all of this information, and we're trying to get that to minimum 5x our spend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we really need somebody to be able to dive into it and analyze, what's working, what's not working, what zip codes we should be, tackling a little bit more.
Yep. Yep.
All the fun stuff.
So that's exciting. So Meg's no longer a project manager; she's a CEO now. So
you don't do any project management at all anymore?
I'm still doing all the construction.
Oh, okay.
She's director of construction.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still doing all the construction stuff. I'm still doing everything with enterprise. So nothing in the enterprise world is changing.
Gotcha.
It's just that I'm working with Remarkable more.
Okay.
Okay, but more importantly, Brandon, so what are you up to? What are you doing? Tell us about who you are, what your company is, and what you've kind of been doing a little bit lately. And then I got all kinds of other questions for you.
Yeah, all good. So I have 2 companies, Proverbs 22 which is my rental company, and then Proverbs Home Buyers, which is the, fix and flip wholesale arm of the business. I'm in the process of, I haven't really advertised it anywhere yet, but I'm in the process of starting a basically like a real estate coaching program as well.
Okay.
Just kind of, again, just as another vertical off of the existing businesses. I don't have a whole lot of details on exactly how that's going to pan out yet, but I've just kind of started like building out the course and whatnot. I get so many people that, and I'm sure you do too, you get people all the time, they're like, hey, I want to pick your brain. Hey, I want to ask you about this. I want to ask you about that. And like, I never had anything to just like give them other than like my time. Like I'd have to go sit there and like try and get the stuff in my brain out to them. And I'm not always the best at that. So I started building out on, you guys are familiar with School, right? Have you guys been on the School website yet?
No.
No? Okay. So School is like a platform that you go on and you can build out like a learning platform. Like you can map a whole educational course out on it. So, and then you can bring people in you can do it for free, or people can pay like a monthly subscription or one-time cost or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's a really simple way to build out a course, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been kind of going in and building out, and I'm probably only like halfway done with it, but just trying to like So when someone asks, I could just like hand them some and be like, here, like go through all this stuff. And then if you have questions, you can come back and ask me.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I've been working on lately. And then, you know, all the normal stuff, buying houses, flipping, wholesaling, looking for rentals. We bought a bunch of rentals in 2023, 2024. We slowed it down just because we were trying to stabilize everything. My wife and I self-manage it, so just trying to get everything set up with the ones we bought, and then 2025 we'll probably start kind of putting a little more effort on that side of things again.
So you have how many rentals right now?
53 units.
And you're self-managing everything?
Yes.
Is there any plans to get some help in that department, or right now you're just going to keep doing it?
So we were talking, my wife and I were really talking about this morning. We basically, so right now it's kind of like a comfortable level that we're at. But if we can get to, I think we either rapidly scale past 100 or we kind of stay close to where we're at. Because where we're at now, we can manage it, it's comfortable, we're fine. If we get into like the 70, 80 range, it's going to start to get a little sketchy trying to self-manage it. So if we go up past 100, then you can justify bringing a person in-house who can manage it the way we want to. So that's kind of where we're at. It's like I'm either going to go by 40, 50 plus, or I'm going to like kind of stay where I'm at right now. And I'm not a big fan of that. So it's probably going to be the go by 40,
the trickier
50 plus.
part I found is I remember when we went to that 40 to 50 range and we were still selling real estate.
Yeah.
Trying to pace, like we didn't really have a ton. I mean, the rentals don't make a ton of cash flow, and you can consider all the maintenance, all the repairs that go into these things. Mm-hmm. So we were like literally had a $10 an hour first property manager.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Like you know, that would be like having a $20 or maybe a $15 property manager now. Like we didn't hire the right person.
Right.
Because we didn't feel like we could afford it.
Yep.
But if you went and paid someone what they're worth, like now if you had to go pay 50, 60,000, what does that do to your bottom line on 60 rentals?
That's exactly it. And like if you hire somebody, like basically your cash flow's gone. Like we cash flow well on ours right now because we self-manage and we don't have that additional cost. But you go and you pay somebody, like you said, 50, 60 grand a year to get somebody good who's going to do it the way you want it done, then I think that's why we need the additional 50 units to basically cover that person, and then they manage all of them.
Have you thought about just hiring a third-party property management company?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of, I've either been involved or seen so many different ones, and my wife and I are so picky with how we do things and how we want things done that I know it's just going to drive me nuts. Like if something's not done the second it comes in, like it's gonna, like a tenant calls me and is like, hey, I've been asking for this for a month and they haven't come over and taken care of it, like it's gonna drive us crazy. And the other part is we screen our tenants so hard on the front end. So like our last 5 people that have moved out, we haven't had to put a single penny into the property. Nothing. No turnover costs, no nothing, because we screen so hard on the front end and are so strict with like basically how we set up our rentals and our tenants that like when they move out, like it's broom swept, they touch up paint, like it's immaculate when they leave. And so like every once in a while my wife has to go and like clean or something when they leave, but like the turnovers have been pretty minimal. And obviously, as you guys know, turnovers just kills your cash flow. Mm-hmm. So we try and eliminate that by being super stringent on the front end side, and then it saves us on the back end.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think a property management company is going to do that because they get paid off just putting people in there and that kind of stuff. So
even when you hire someone, it's going to be hard to run it as tight as you run it.
Sure.
Because, and if it grows beyond that, like if you go to, like I have 200 of my, that get managed out of Carlisle, and then we manage 100 or 200 of other people's. Mm-hmm. Like, could I do it better? Probably, if I was focused on it.
Yeah.
And it, like, because I'm the owner. But you have to be willing to, when you go into that mode, you have to be willing to accept a little less.
Yeah. I think it's like with any business, right? It's like at some point, like, even with the home buying company. So I've thought many times about going and hiring like an acquisition agent to go out and run the appointments and that kind of stuff. But in my head, and this probably isn't the case, but in my head anyways, I'm like, this guy's not going to care as much as I do about getting that next deal, about, you know, taking care of the client, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And does it hurt me growth wise, yeah, for sure. But I basically just have to weigh like what I'm comfortable with and my happiness of like which one means more to me, growing or staying in this lane, but I'm confident and happy at the end of the day and not constantly worrying about what this guy's doing over here. So I've just found that for myself, like I'd rather do it myself and then just grow slower and not as quick.
Some of my friends in the Collective Genius, there's one guy out of Virginia. He has like 88 paid off rental properties. And he has a very small wholesaling company, like 3 people.
Yeah.
And, you know, he doesn't make as much as some of the big guys, right, that are making clearing 7 million profit.
Yeah.
But there's some peace into what he's doing. He's actually bored at some point. Like he's actually, I think he's bored at sometimes. And
yeah, the saying is keep it small and keep it all, or go big and, you know, risk it all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I've been with the bigger companies and, you know, had, you know, whatever, it's 20 employees and this kind of stuff. And it's great. And I understand why people go that route. And I think it's a good long-term plan for sure. Because eventually at some point you can get out almost completely and the company will run itself. But I'm kind of like with that guy's mindset where like I have a decent amount of free time on my schedule because of the way that I've set things up. And even though, you know, when I was with the previous company, I had 20 employees, like I was way busier having to manage 20 employees and run the business and everything than what I am now doing it by myself, even though I'm doing everything. And my wife does help out, obviously, but I like the simple side of it for sure.
so what do you think? So you flipped some houses this year. This is like our lowest amount of flips we've done in like a few years.
A really long time.
We've done more novations. We've probably done more novations than we have flips, right? So to speak.
Yeah, and then lately in the last quarter, our wholesales have really picked up a lot.
Yeah, I love wholesale. That's arguably my favorite exit strategy out of all of them.
Well, if you buy it and you flip it and you make less than just then
exactly.
It's kind of like a given.
Yeah.
And the costs of construction have just gone through the roof too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. On the material and labor side.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I only did a few flips this year. I think we had like 6 or 7 flips, something like that. You know, normal year we'll do like 12 to 15 for my company, and it's just they're harder to find that makes sense on the flip side.
I think we did 13. Only did 13.
We closed 13.
13, out the door.
So,
but last year we did 30, right?
Technically, yeah. I mean, we technically flipped more, but they just didn't close. So.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
And I think right now when you're flipping house, you can't get away with what you got away with 8 months ago.
Oh no. I was talking with a realtor friend of mine the other day about that. You have to, you know, you used to be able to stick almost anything on the market and it would go. Like you get away with a lot of dumb stuff, and not that any of us did, but you could. So, and now if it's not like, has to be like have a little bit of a custom feel to it, has to have some of those, you know, like the accent walls and that kind of stuff. You have to dress it up a little bit more. And those still seem to move fairly quick.
In the right price range.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I love stuff that's like between that $200 and $300 range. Like that just seems to be a really good
But
spot.
you can't get away with painting the cabinet. If the cabinets are bad, you probably should just replace them.
Yep.
Or if there's no budget to do it, you maybe are buying the wrong house.
Yeah. And a year and a half ago, you could have done that and had 8 offers on it in the first day still. So
I know.
Yep, it's definitely, it's different. But if you put good product out, it's still going to move.
We've had a good run with flipping houses. I really think, I mean, I don't know when, it's like got to be like 14 years straight of being pretty good.
Yeah.
There's been some lulls for a couple months here and there, but but now feels like a lull. I've got a couple new builds and we've got one flip that's kind of sitting.
Yeah, yep.
But there's some awkwardness about it slightly.
Yeah.
Like the garage is, you have to go in the basement to do the garage in the front.
Oh, okay.
Low ceilings upstairs, and some of the kitchen is just so.
Yeah.
Not any. Meg still did $100K worth of work to it. So.
I mean, hey, we had it sold. We did everything.
It was a week from closing.
Yeah, it was a week from closing.
Geez.
We did everything that we could afford to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 25, 30K profit. Now it's looking like a break even because we kept lowering the price and the market's changed.
Yeah. So how did it fall through? What happened?
The lending on the buyer side.
He was approved, but he couldn't get verify his where he worked in Mexico before the previous year.
Oh.
He's here now working legitimately, but they couldn't verify his.
They need 2 years of work history.
They wouldn't give him that work. They thought they could get it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
Jeez.
And then a couple new builds. We just built some new townhouses, and we're gonna have to lower the price on them. And we probably still make something, but it's just not like what it was.
Yeah, that's what's nice about being a well-rounded investor, though. And this is what I've been preaching to people a lot lately. Is like if you're just a wholesaler or just a flipper or whatever it is, like a lot of times the market, you're gonna get stuck in certain markets and like sit there and throw your hands up. Like, I don't know what to do because this isn't working right now. But when you can pivot and go to new construction, go to rentals, wholesale, innovation, wholesale, whatever it is, I think that's like you can survive at any time. You might not thrive necessarily, but you're going to be able to at least get by in any market if you just know how to pivot and you have the tools in your toolbox to do that. Yeah. So
we were talking to somebody recently, a friend of mine in San Diego. He has $50 million of real estate for sale right now.
Oh
but he says the interest rates will dip early next year and it'll all go.
I hope he's right. I hope he's right.
I have 300, 600, 700. We have like 900,000 of inventory of not retail price, but that's what our cost is into them.
Yep.
That's what we have sitting.
Yeah.
So it's like we can weather that. So we can make them rentals if we had to, but then that would not be the goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we are, doing some creative financing, so we offered seller financing on the one.
Yeah, we can offer seller financing on these deals if they put 10% down, but the rate would have to be 11%.
Yeah.
Then I can flip them as I can go to the bank with that 10% down and get my own loan.
Right. Yeah.
And sell them no problem.
Yeah. Yep. And seller finance, when you're the one that's paying the bank, it works for certain types of people, even with the higher interest rate, because normally it's people that don't have another option necessarily of going the traditional route because whatever, they just got a divorce or lost their job a year ago and they're trying to build their credit back up.
But their income's fine.
Yeah, they have the income there to support it and they have the down money, but their credit's not there. So
but even a 330 house comes out to like 3,100, 3,200 a month.
It's crazy now.
It's not.
But I mean, also like some people can't afford the 20% down, but they can afford the 10% down. So it's just different.
Yeah, but 10% down will get them a loan. So it's really it's really their credit.
Most
or
of the
their
time,
verification or something to that regard. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they don't need 20. They could put down 3.5 or 5.
Yeah, it's primary residence versus like the rental side.
Right, but I mean, it also depends on what they can actually get too. I mean, if the house can go FHA.
It can. These all can.
Well, those can, but I'm just saying in general speaking. What if the house can't go FHA?
True. I got some questions.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you have, how many rentals do you have? 50?
53 right now.
So do you profit per month on them?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
How much? So I have 200 rentals, and I looked at my numbers, and I don't even think I can pull this money out. But I will say my 200 rentals made $140,000 last year. Not a lot for 200 rentals, but keep in mind, I didn't.
Staff.
What's that?
All the staff.
Well, my staff. So that's not even really considering the management, because my management company covers the cost of them. So I'm not even paying for them. I'm just paying for extreme maintenance, like the maintenance or the major turns. We are just fronting that, and I really haven't walked one rental in a couple of years.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So but I'm looking at it's now starting to get profitable, even though we sold off some of the profitable ones last year.
Yeah.
So I made like, what is that? 12 grand a month, but not necessarily I can pull 12 grand out every single month.
Yeah, you have good months and bad months for sure.
No, but it was 144 on the year. So I did see that number, but I don't feel like I can pull that all out. I don't know why yet, but we did pull some money out this year for some things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're the same way. We take 10% out of if we pull in, let's just say it's $50K a month that comes in, then we're taking out $5 grand and it just goes into an account we just have labeled rentals. Maintenance, basically.
And the rest holds its own?
And the rest holds its own, and we, even after taking that out, we'll bring in, I think we obviously haven't finished December yet, but we should end up netting around like 60 on the 53 that we have.
Oh, wow.
So somewhere around there.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably missed out on rentals over the years because I've been a little too picky on certain ones, and like, it didn't hit the cash flow I was looking for, but...
And you bought most of these in what years?
So we got the majority chunk of them came in 2023.
Okay.
And then we just kind of like, we're picking up stuff here and there before that from like we bought our first rental in 2012. We sold off stuff that we had bought in Virginia because that's where we got started. And then we moved up to PA, put that money in and started buying stuff up here in 2018.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah.
And I bought a lot of my stuff 15, 17 years ago when they were all cheap. So
right,
they're in swaps. Some of them are in low interest rate loans.
Yep.
So I didn't buy anything in 23 or 22 because I just couldn't make sense of it.
Yep.
So Meg has, how many rentals do you have, Meg?
42.
And you clear how much a month in yours? She's way better.
I mean, I like to keep it conservative, so in my head, it's around 10,000 a month I clear.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good.
She is like a hawk too. She's like she's on top of it.
Yep.
If she needs something replaced, she'll get 20 estimates. Like, I'm not kidding.
So you self-manage them too, or do you?
I do self-manage.
Yeah. I like it personally. I shouldn't say I like it all the time, but you know what I mean. So every once in a while you get the annoying tenants or phone calls where it's just like, maybe I should hire somebody to deal with this. But
she had to replace a tree in front of her, like a sidewalk in front of her house. I mean, there was a tree there. She must have got 15, 20 estimates for that. We won't talk about where it went sideways.
Yeah, that ended up being a little bit of a disaster, but.
But so people think they buy rentals, they get rich. The problem is that doesn't happen. You need to buy rentals. Every penny you make on it should go back in those accounts. You really shouldn't take anything out for a long haul.
right.
Because you just don't know when you're going to need a roof, or if we need a roof on one of our rentals, we just go do it. We don't like the money's in there, like we're just going to do it.
Yep. Rentals you don't buy for like to live off cash flow right away.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I have a question here. What are you good at?
If you asked it's such an awkward question, right?
Business-wise, okay.
If you asked my wife, she would tell you the sales side of things. I love sitting down and talking with people and getting to know them, hearing their story, that kind of stuff. So it's very easy for me to walk into a stranger's house and build that rapport and have just a genuine conversation with them. Try and have a friend at the end of the conversation. That's probably my strong suit. To transition, what I'm not good at is
that was my next question.
Okay, yeah. So is the back end kind of like little detail type work, paperwork, that kind of stuff. I hate sitting in front of a computer. It's just not my thing. I get energy being around people. And so when I have to be stuck in my office doing stuff, it drives me nuts. Like I can handle a few hours here and there, but it's not my thing. So sales, building rapport with people, just kind of creating that relationship. I feel very comfortable with that. Anything in front of the computer is not my thing.
I'm good at sales, but I'm not good at I'm going to buy your house sales because I was a realtor for like 13 years.
Yeah, it's hard to take off that
My job was to go in there and figure out, like do all the work for them, like literally put my money into a fix-up so we can get you the most so that I could just make 3% commission.
Right, yeah.
And then, so it's just, I can't turn the hat off, but I love people too, but I'm not good at that part. I am good at building relationships. I'm good at talking to people.
Yeah.
I'm good at starting projects, and I'm good at like kind of making sure someone else finishes them too. Because if you can be good at starting and then mess that up by not finishing it.
Yes.
And then on the finance side, I'm really good at funding a project.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it because I've really done it wrong before.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start something and then get in the middle and be like, oh crap.
Right. Yeah.
Because that can happen.
Absolutely.
Meg, what are you good at?
I feel like I'm really good at the finish part of it. Like, I mean, if just having like a project from completion, like that's what I am really good at, is starting something, taking it all the way and completing it and having like a tangible final product to showcase.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I enjoy the most, honestly.
Yeah.
Too, is like seeing that transformation. And then just like, okay, my part of the puzzle's done.
Right.
I did my stuff and it's on to somebody else now. And I feel like that's what I'm strongest at. I'm not really the greatest at sales. I mean, I can go in and have a conversation with somebody, but like, punching them in the gut and getting it at a deep discount.
Yeah.
It's a little harder for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's really good at finance. Like she will, like when she's running the numbers, she puts in the interest, she does the stage, like she will do the whole ball of wax. So you're really, really good at finance. Although you do have accounting degree too, don't you?
MBA.
Oh yeah, okay.
MBA. She's kind of qualified for that. Yeah.
We're at our networking group, and they're like, Rob, she can't be a project manager on your videos anymore. Like she's better than that. So she's now a CEO of one of our companies. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
So give me an example of something that's not working that you used to be able to do, or that's not working in your company.
So we used to do stuff with like cold calling and texting, and that's obviously gotten very difficult because of all the FCC. I think it's FCC, right? FCC regulations. It used to definitely have the highest ROI out of all the marketing channels because you could do it for so reasonable and get in front of so many people quickly. And obviously now it's your response rate on everything's way down because all the carriers block the calls and text and all that other kind of stuff. So the texting and cold calling we used to do a decent amount of, bought a good amount of properties off of it, and we basically shut both of those down because of the amount of time that we're having to invest in it and money. The ROI was just not there anymore. It'd be like, $2 for every dollar you put in, which is fine, but that's not, $4, $5, $6, which is what I think most people are probably shooting for in our industry. So that's been the kind of the not working side of things is those two avenues with the marketing side. It's just hasn't been great. We
just dabbled and, basically because of Meg, we did TV like 3 or 4 months ago. We started that, and it's even though it's a huge expense, if you have a bigger company, it starts to fold over into all those marketing channels.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
But it's also a big pill to swallow too, to say you're going to do it and keep doing it until it gets there.
Yeah.
Because realistically, TV is 6 months to 12 months before 100%. It really starts working.
Yep.
Now we did see obviously a boost in all the other ones,
correct.
But it's still not where we want it to be.
Yeah.
Right now it's maybe 2 to 3x times our spend, where obviously we want to see like 5 to 8.
Right. Yeah.
But within 6 months to a year, we're very hopeful that it gets there to that point.
Personal, there's one guy in CG, personal brand, people that are built, like we've kind of dabbled in it, but I've even seen some guys in CG that are taking that to another level.
Yeah,
like
right.
Unfathomable.
Yeah, like instead of like Remarkable, you have like Rob Buys Houses or something.
Well,
like that.
we talked about that, maybe going back to that a little bit.
Yeah,
but we're
I would do Meg though instead of Rob.
Yeah. So. But, maybe tying that back, because there's a guy in Minnesota, he's a big real estate team type company, regular real estate. His first year flipping houses, he transitioned all his marketing into buying houses. Yeah. They flipped 250 houses this last year.
Wow. Jeez.
In his first year.
That's crazy.
And it's all about his personal brand.
Yep.
He even has like his own silhouette of himself, like doing the Lindahl. And that's his last name is Lindahl. Oh, okay. And he just sold it out to, who did he sell it out to? Microsoft?
He leased it, I thought, to the NBA.
No, Microsoft, one of those companies.
Yeah, he leased it to some company, and he's making a lot of money off of it.
Jeez.
But he's all about personal brand. He's all about like getting your name out there and stuff, and a lot of that's come that way.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they talked about is AI.
Yeah.
So going back to your cold calling, so right now the AI has cold calling, programs that you can do, and it is, you really can't tell the difference between me talking to you and this AI talking to you. Like, it is crazy. Oh, you can even like customize your voice and all kinds of things. Yeah, it'll sound like you can get it so you just record your voice and then it can say whatever it needs to say. I've been on a couple of those like demo calls with a couple different companies right now about that stuff. It's AI is scary and exciting at the same time.
Yeah. So I think they said, like, I don't use ChatGPT much, but now I'm trying to focus myself when I have a question or instead of going to Google, you should go to ChatGPT and because it'll think more than what Google will.
Yeah. You can fine tune your stuff. I was the same way, and I use ChatGPT for like all kinds of stuff now. Like I've had
Did you buy a prescription? Did you buy it yet?
Yeah.
The $20. Is it like $20 a month?
Yeah. It's well worth it. I have that thing do things that like people pay attorneys to do, And like, I'll send it to my attorney. I used to send my attorney, and now I don't even anymore. And I would be like, hey, what do you think about this? And like, he's like, this is great. I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like, any changes or anything? And he's like, I mean, you could like kind of tweak this, but like it'll literally write up like documents for you that you're paying your attorney $100, $200 an hour to do.
So it'll do a will for you and everything if you want.
Everything.
Oh my.
And you the more the crazy part is, so like the more it gets to know you, the more dialed in it gets with its responses.
So it's learning you at the same time.
Yes.
So I should pay this prescription. So
yes. And it's definitely worth it, because you'll have like your own avatar that it's basically like, okay, Rob thinks this way, he talks this way, and it'll like start to customize it for you.
Does it go to? Is that all? Is Elon part of that? Do you think? I think he's on the. I think he's involved with that.
It wouldn't surprise me. Everything the dude touches turns to gold somehow. So.
Did you know nothing of his with like the cars? Is there's no patents. No patents.
That's mind blowing.
He doesn't care. He's even given out his plans. He said, "Go ahead and make it better."
Oh my gosh. I'm always torn on what to think about him. Like, is he trying to like secretly take over the world, or is like he just like genuinely like a good person who's just trying to like help everybody? Like, I don't know which way to go.
Pretty wild what happened during the election. Like, he's just there at the party hanging out with his with his son.
Did you do the $100 check thing? Did you see that?
I never got my $100 check, but everyone I referred, my brother,
I got
everyone
two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know how long they took.
I think my wife took mine.
Well, ironically, so I got one because we were in the process of moving. We just moved into a new residence, and I got one at the new house. And then I told my wife, I was like, we were supposed to get two of these. She's like, oh, I got one a few days ago. And I'm like, oh, okay,
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get one, Meg?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh yeah.
I thought it could be a scam.
I did too. I was like, and then I looked it up, and it was like all over the news sites. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's real. So
I did it. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? So you gave a little bit of this. So what's working now really well for you then?
So what's working now and has worked for years is postcards. Like, I just love mail.
Okay.
And I think mail is like TV. Like, a lot of people go into it and they try it for a couple months and they're like, this is expensive, it doesn't work, I don't want to do it anymore. And postcards takes a long time to build up a pipeline. And I tell everybody, like, if you're not doing 6 months minimum, don't even go into it. And if you're not doing a decent size mailing, like 5,000 plus a month at minimum, again, don't go into it. So postcards has been fantastic for years. It's right up there as far as my ROI goes with doing like PPC or PPL. Mm-hmm. But postcards is the main one that I tell everybody.
We're doing postcards or one of those envelopes with a check in it type thing.
Yeah.
It's our number one lead source.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Postcards is, if you're consistent with it, there's, like with any marketing source, you're gonna have good months and bad months and that kind of stuff. But if you're consistent with it, then like I've been mailing 10,000 a month for years, and I just bought one yesterday. The lady had my card for 6 months. They're just sitting there, and I hadn't mailed her again. Like she got my cards for a while, and then she just my list for whatever reason she dropped off that list. But she had one of my cards from 6 months ago. And I knew it was because I changed the picture on the front of it. So she still had it sitting there, and she's like, yeah, I've just had it for a long time, and I just felt like it was the right time to call. And like,
wow,
this is why you just stay consistent with it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
What's working for me is just rental properties are crushing it.
Yeah.
The stuff we bought, years ago. We have 800 rental properties. We're probably at 95% occupied.
Yep.
I think people are not paying a little bit more this over Christmas. That's kind of normal.
Yep.
Things are so expensive, but overall rentals have been strong for us all year.
Yeah.
Cash flow wise.
Yeah. Rentals are, I think they're so underrated. I don't know why. I think almost anybody, regardless if you're in real estate or not, should look to buy rentals, even if you have to like outsource the management right away or something. They're such a good combination of store of wealth, tax advantage, appreciation. Like, it's just, I think every financial advisor should advise people to get into rentals somehow or another.
Yep.
So it's my personal
What's
opinion.
working for you, Meg? Would you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I would say my rentals are pretty strong.
Yeah.
I'd say at 10,000 a month they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean this year was the first year that I actually like pulled money out of my rentals, where normally I would never touch that money. It would always just go back into the rentals or fund buying new ones.
Right.
But this year with buying, my own house and the wedding and everything, I actually did pull money out of my rentals account.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty crazy like how quickly it's, getting built back up
Right.
again.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. When you
In the
pull
Mercedes.
And the
Yeah.
Mercedes,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw that you posted that on Facebook a while back.
And she bought a
Yeah.
real house.
What were you living in before? Like a
One of my
box or
rentals.
something? Oh, okay.
A 3-unit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to only stay there 1 to 2 years, and I ended up staying 5 years. And it really made a huge difference in terms of, overall wealth.
Yeah.
Because I was living there for free, and actually I was making money by
Yep.
every month I was living there. So that was actually very good that I ended up staying a lot longer. And then it just, made me a little bit more comfortable to grow into where I'm at now.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a big thing with the younger age group that's coming up is the whole delayed gratification thing, and that's hard for us as humans in general. But doing stuff like that, because a lot of people, everything wants instant gratification, they want it right away, and if you can just like put your head down and I don't want to say suffer, but like not live as lavish of a life or whatever it is for like 3 to 5 years, it makes it, like you were saying, a huge difference. It's not, people think you have to do it for like 20, 30 years. It's not that. It's literally like a 3 to 5 year window of just being really conservative with your money, living way below your means, and then you can go and like, again, not be done with your money, but you have a lot more flexibility and freedom to do what you want to do at that point.
We've done it closer to the 20. My wife would say we've waited too long. She still has to. She's been complaining for the last week. Rob, our vacuum's broke. I don't have she doesn't have money to get a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like she got money for Christmas, right? So the Christmas is taken care of. It's done.
Yeah.
We do have like a beach house that gets taken care of out of the company. Like the things we do, the bigger stuff, just the company has to. We all have to agree on, and that's what we do. But if she wants to get her hair done and it's expensive, we got to figure out how to do that. Like we either got to do a bonus or something like that. And she
Just
doesn't
pull
have
it out of the rentals account. It's fine.
When you start doing that, it starts to be gone. Like, and of course, we took on a big venture with the assisted living, which is still like I lost 1.3 million in cash flow last year, so that's a little bit of a hurdle.
Right.
Maybe not quite that much.
Yeah.
Maybe 700,000 or 800,000.
Now, what's it looking like? Switching gears a little bit, but what's it looking like for this year? Is it a lot more stabilized? Is it looking like?
Our leadership, is getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
A lot better. And we're moving towards profitability. We have to raise some rents. That's part of our issue.
Yeah.
We have 49 or 50 in there right now. And we
how
probably
many can it hold?
we have 57 bedrooms and we're allowed to have 64 people.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be harder to get over 57 people. And I think we will be at 55 by the end of this month.
Nice.
Moving into next year. So that's promising.
Yeah.
But even at 57, I think it just kind of makes like a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
Because the bank wants you to be profitable,
Right.
or else they're up your butt, meaning they want more cash reserves.
Yeah.
So that's the hurdle. I'm happy with where we're. I also need to charge more for people, but I'm reluctant to do it because we're building a brand and we're doing stuff. And even though it costs this much to take care of people, they should pay more because it costs a lot.
Yeah.
And the whole industry is struggling for staff right now.
Is your place exclusively private pay?
Yep.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the new ones. That's how they are.
Yeah. Yep.
But we don't accept,
Medicare.
insurance, Medicare,
Yeah.
Medicaid. Because once you do it for one, you have to do it for all.
Correct,
And then it
yeah.
just becomes that.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
But a lot of our people that live there have their own. They live there, and they also have full-time caregivers that come there with them.
Yeah.
That they have.
Wow.
So we just need a few people.
Yeah. Yeah. Because yours is all assisted. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But most of them are on wheelchairs, and
Yep.
And I have found that people do not want to go to one of these homes unless they honestly cannot take care of themselves anymore.
Yeah, correct.
So they will, tooth and nail, they will stay
Yeah.
at their home.
Yeah.
And I still have a dream of doing some senior housing. I think we talked about that last time a little bit. I still
Yeah.
want to do that, but I haven't started that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of the projects that we look at now. We are trying to look for stuff that like we can do a bunch of 1-bedroom or studios with, because that that population's great for a bunch of different reasons. Like, one is that they really seem to take care of your stuff. So the other part is, like, a lot of rentals get beat up by kids. I love kids. I have 3 of them myself. But speaking from experience with my house, like, they beat the crap out of my house. Yeah. And they do the same at rental properties. So I think that having those little 1-bedroom and studio apartments, they just tend to have less turnover. Those people tend to stay for a long time because they you know, like, once they move somewhere, they're like, I don't want to move again. They, like, the young couple and stuff like that with kids, they're just...
But it could even be a townhouse that's ranch style that's just for 55 plus. Mm-hmm. It could be larger apartments, even where the rents are 2,000, 20. Like they'll pay the rent for a nicer place if it's all seniors.
Correct. Yep. Because they know how much places like the assisted living costs, or even like an independent living costs. Like they're still getting a great deal.
All these people are building these apartments around here right now, but none of them are doing senior. Yeah. Which is, they're missing the boat.
They are
100%.
Yep.
Well, we're missing the boat because we're not currently building it.
Well, I honestly don't believe that I don't think I could build a 100-unit building unless I'm funding half of it in cash. I could get a bank loan and I could raise the money for the difference, but I think when you do those two things together, you're losing money per month.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only way to do it is to pay half in cash. But how do you do that? I don't want to build a 100-unit for $36 million and not make any money for 10 years. Like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Yeah. I've done that for too many years, I feel like.
Right, yeah.
But maybe I build a 20-unit, put half in cash, and then have it cash flow to where I have something.
It's a lot easier pill to swallow at that point, yeah.
Do a 20-unit this year, in 2 years do another 20-unit, and then in 10 years we're doing 100 units.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be possible.
Yeah. Even if you get like a piece of land where like you can get it zoned so you can put up like 5 or 6 of those 20-unit buildings and 20 this year, 3, 4, 5 years, 20 more, like that kind of thing. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
I have in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, yeah.
I have 17 acres that we got approval to build one building, 210 units on.
There you go.
And they waived all the zoning, gave me variances for all of it.
Yeah.
But I should look into maybe something
if you could
smaller.
chop it up and just do a bunch of smaller buildings, something like that.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, future business plans. Are you going to grow? Do you know if you're going to grow? What are you going to do? Or are you just going to keep doing what you're doing, which is fine too?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're so comfortable right now. We have so much flexibility with our schedule. Like we don't have this like big push where it's like we need to grow bigger or anything like that. We don't have this monster that we have to feed every month with, marketing dollars and overhead and this kind of stuff. So I think that we will grow. I think like I said, I'm this year 2025 is going to be more focused on the real estate coaching side and on the rentals. Yeah. And I think I'm going to try and hopefully pick up around like 50 or more this year, get us up over that 100 number. And as far as like the wholesaling fix and flip business, I'm very comfortable where that's at. I like doing 2-3 deals a month. It's easy. I can manage it myself. My wife doesn't have a whole lot of involvement, so she can focus on managing the rentals, raising the kids, all that good stuff. And I don't think I'll grow that side of the business, but the rentals and the REI coaching side, probably that for sure. Yeah.
Well, we've got Meg pushing us on our side here. Meg, are you going to grow this year?
That's the plan. The plan of attack.
Are you buying rentals this year too?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I really want to grow my rental portfolio as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been really kind of hard to buy anything the last 2 years just because of cash flow.
Yeah.
But in 2025, interest rates are supposed to go down a little bit more. So it's like, okay, some more opportunities might be able to come back around.
Right.
And then even like now, like it seems like a lot of people are starting to sell right now.
Agreed. Yep.
So it's like, okay, what's going on? Like, if people are selling, that's my opportunity to buy. Maybe we can get a discounted deal.
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful to be able to grow it into 2025. I don't necessarily care about the door count anymore. Like I used to say, like, oh, I want 100 doors. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But it's more so like for my ego. I'm like, oh, I have 100 doors.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care about that as much as cash flow. Like, I
Agreed.
want to have
Yep.
X amount of money that I can count on every single month that's coming in
Yep.
from the rentals. And it's like, if that X amount of money comes from, 50 doors versus 60 doors versus 100 doors,
Yeah.
okay, so be it.
Yeah.
That's the number that I'm
And
I'm
honestly,
looking for.
the lower amount of doors, the better. If
Yeah.
you can hit that cash flow number, like I'd rather
Right.
only have 50 and have 10 grand a month coming in than have 100 and have 10 grand a month coming
Right.
in. It's way
Thanks.
easier to manage.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I just got thrown under the bus.
So I want to go back real quick because you were talking about. It seems like a lot of people are looking to start selling right now. So what I've gathered from like the people I listen to, so a lot of people in 2020, 2021 started going into these 5/1 adjustable rate mortgages. And when they did it in 2020, 2021, it was, 3.5% or whatever it was on even a rental property. And now, it's adjusted to 7, 8, whatever they're sitting at right now. So what cash flowed then in 2020, 2021 is not cash flowing anymore. So now I think is when they start to like, okay, well that 5 years is coming up. I have to refi or sell. And refi doesn't make sense because the rates are still high. So I think a lot of those people that locked in 2020, 2021 with those 5/1 ARMs are looking to start dispoing those at this
Exactly.
point. So pick them up low enough, then regardless of what the interest rate is, you can make stuff work.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's always tons of people that have owned them for a long time that are looking for a good relationship
Yes.
to
Yeah.
seller finance.
Yes.
If you're not
Yeah.
asking about seller financing right now, you're missing the boat.
Oh, 100%. With the way that the interest rates are right now, my primary residence I just bought on seller financing.
Really?
Yep, 5.5%.
For how long?
It's a 3-year term for it.
Yep.
Which we were comfortable with. It's our primary residence, so I didn't really care about like
Did you ask for more?
for a longer term.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
I was more concerned about the interest rate
Yeah.
with it. So once we got to 5.5, I was good. That was like at least a whole point under what
Yeah.
I pay going to a bank right now. So, but seller finance, I had talked to everybody about.
Yeah. It has to be part of the game because
Yes.
if they like you, know you, and vet you out a little bit, they have to place that money too somewhere. So if they
Correct.
can make a return on it and not have the headache anymore, they might be willing to do it.
Yeah. Yep. And now the CDs have started to come down a little bit as far as what was guaranteed in a CD. So you can go and, compete with what they can get with
Did you
that.
have to put any money down on the house?
I did.
Okay.
We put 200 down on it. Just like we were selling our old house, which we had a bunch of equity in. So we just took that, put it down. We're using some of the other money to, basically remodel it a little bit, turn it into what we
Yeah.
want.
But 5.5's better than 6.5 or whatever
Yeah,
the bank was
absolutely.
saying.
Yeah. The bank, when I first talked to them, I think they were at like 6.7 or 6.8, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
around there. So when I talked to this guy, and I mean, he didn't even bat an eye at it. He's in real estate also
Yeah.
himself, so he was familiar with everything already. So it was an easy conversation. But just like, do you want to sell or finance it? Like, would you consider doing
Mm-hmm.
it? He's like, if you got down money, sure. All right.
I bought a $1 million thing of properties back in the day on seller finance. I bought a 40 unit, 2.7 million on seller finance
Yep.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
We bought a $2 million one this year, and now we're working on a 1.6.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
just because it's bigger dollars, these people know the market even better. They
Yeah.
can't place that money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people get scared with the bigger numbers, but the math is the same. You just have more
Yeah.
zeros behind it. Like, it doesn't change anything. So yeah, seller finance is.
But this
definitely the way to go.
$1.6 million purchase we're doing, if I buy it seller financed, I need $430,000. If I go to the bank and get a loan, I think I need $850,000 to
Right.
close the deal to make it the same.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to get $850 than it is $430.
Yep. That's the other side, is the down payments. That's what I love, is there's no box that you have to fit in.
Yeah.
You can customize your down payment, your interest rate, your
Yep.
loan term. You can customize what amount they're gonna hold. Like, I have people that are in second position on seller financing. The bank's in first, they're in second, just so I didn't have to bring down money to a deal. So you
Yep.
can structure them however you want. It's just pulling
Yep.
levers. Which lever do I have to pull to make it fit in my
Yep.
buy box?
So Brandon, you along with us, we take all this risk, we do all this stuff. What are you? So what are some hobbies? Like, what are you doing? Anything fun?
I golf a lot.
Okay.
More than I should probably. So, golf is my guilty pleasure for sure.
Okay.
I love to hunt, which we're coming out of that season.
I did look
now.
at your social media a little bit. I saw some big deer on there.
Yes, yeah. So I like to hunt a lot. Outside of that, it's just, it's the normal family stuff.
Yeah.
I coach my kids in like every sport they do. I just like to be hands-on with that stuff.
Yep.
So I'm constantly at, right now it's wrestling season.
Yep.
So wrestling practice 3 days a week, and then they have tournaments on the weekends. And so just hanging out with the family and kids.
You're not missing any of it, are you?
No, I will skip appointments and, do what I need to do to make sure I can be there, because that's what they're going to remember. Like, they don't really care, like, how important it is, what you're doing, that you're missing their stuff for. They just know if daddy's there or not.
That's awesome.
So
that's the one thing I tell people about my dad is he, like, when I wrestled in college, he only missed like one match.
Yeah.
In high school and college, like one match.
Yep.
So
yep.
that means more than any business deal we did together.
Right.
We talk about that more than that.
Yeah.
Meg, what are your hobbies?
I mean, for a while it was with sports. I mean, I did soccer and I played basketball and field hockey. I mean, I did all of that. Now it's more just like working out. Every morning, the first thing I do is go to the gym.
Yep.
Well, not the gym that's in my house, because I added that feature, so
Nice.
that's really nice.
Yep.
But I mean, I run on the treadmill every day or run outside depending on the weather.
Yeah.
And otherwise, hobbies, I mean, just hanging out with friends. I like to travel. That's kind of my passion project right now, is just traveling and seeing as much as I can possibly see.
Meg likes to party.
Well,
she's still 30. Well, she's still 30.
30.
How old are you?
No kids.
Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 36 now. Jeez,
Okay,
yeah,
so
36.
you start to get out of
calling me
it. Meg wants a beach house too, so that's one of her goals.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have? I thought you might have had one.
No, we've always kind of dabbled with the idea. I literally just talked to my wife about this 2 days ago, because the Airbnb we have is doing great right now, and I'm like, what if we just like applied all our same principles and stuff and just went and bought a beach house, because theoretically it would work the same. Like, again, it's just bigger numbers, but I mean, on paper it looks like it would make sense. So a beach house is one of our goals. I don't know if it'll be this year, but hopefully in the next like 3 years or so we can do something. The kids are still young. I want them to obviously have it to enjoy, and it's something like, it's a legacy thing, right? Like, I want my grandkids to be able to go there one day, and hopefully it's paid off at that point and all that kind of stuff.
We did a beach house like 7 years ago, Ocean City, Maryland, where the market was awful.
Yeah, yep.
And I think we only paid $165. We owe like $70 on it right now, and it's worth like $600. Jet skis and boat are right at the house.
I see the videos all the time. And Meg gets to go on all the guys' trips too.
She does. But the cool thing about it is I have two brothers, right? It's kind of a family affair with the beach house. We don't really rent it out. We let employees use it, and my brother Mike deals with the jet skis and the boats, and I just kind of show up when it's my turn. I only go there like 2 weeks out of the year, but the goal would eventually be to use it more. But beach house is awesome. Kids love it.
Yeah.
And when I mention, even though ours is a double wide, we own the land, but if I ever mention about selling it, my kids are like, no, they want to. Yeah. They don't want to sell that one. They like it.
Yeah.
But for me, I used to hunt. I don't hunt anymore. Pickleball's my thing. That doesn't cost a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But I did start flying recently with my one daughter, and flying's been pretty cool.
Those little planes make me nervous. I can do commercial. I'm fine with that, but the little planes scare the life out of me. That
scares me too, but I'm getting the hang. Like, landing's the hard part.
Yeah.
But the idea of being able to go to Penn State and be home to do something with the kids the same day, or going to the beach and doing stuff, riding the jet ski and coming back the same day, is pretty enticing.
Oh, it'd be super convenient. If I could ever get over my fear of that, I think it'd be awesome to be able to do something like that.
My 7-year-old will not fly with me.
Oh, really?
The 5-year-old will. The 7-year-old, she said, Dad, there's no way I'm going to, because they go to practice near Philly, so we have to drive like 3 times a week and there's an airport next to it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, let's just fly one time. She said, Dad, I'm never going with you, ever. If it's just me and you, that's never happening.
It's never happening.
She's pretty serious too. I said, well, what if we take like a coach, like, to help? She said, that's a maybe, but me and you, Never.
The 5-year-old doesn't have that like sense of fear or anything.
No,
yet.
the 15-year-old is flying, so she flies
Yeah.
sometimes with me as well.
Right.
And we flew to that place once just to test it out. It's 22 minutes, the flight to where practice would be. And then we were on the way home. She had off that day, and I turned around. She's just out cold, sleeping in the back of the plane.
So how fast does the plane go that you usually
About 200.
200 miles an hour.
Ish. Yeah,
Wow.
a little less, a little more, depending on the winds.
Yeah.
Penn State, 23 minutes.
Oh my gosh. That is really nice. That's cool.
And when you have a good pilot that knows what they're doing, it's pretty comfortable. Like
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. But it's when I'm trying to wrap my head around the radios, the landing, the other airplanes.
Yeah.
But it's getting easier. I'm
Right.
30 hours in.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. I'm sure eventually. it'll
Meg's
be
flown
safe.
it. Meg's not afraid.
I have no fear of it. I totally trust him. I mean, he does good. I mean, he has a coach there if anything were to go wrong.
What about when I'm
but-
by myself?
Yeah, would you get it by himself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she would.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't even give.
Meg
it a
wants to
second
fly
thought.
too. She wants to fly too.
Literally, wouldn't give it a second thought.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
You're brave.
Oh man.
But I've sacrificed for so long. It's like I almost have fear of doing huge projects because I've got
Yeah.
some things I could do, but I
Yeah.
just don't know if I want to sacrifice years to get to where it would take.
Yeah. 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 At some point, I mean, I think we all get to a point where it's like we have everything we want and more. So like, do I want to risk it for like this next big thing right here? And that it's like something I think all of us is like entrepreneurs and investors fight constantly. It's like, okay, like where do I draw a line and say like, okay, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk this anymore. I'm not going to gamble on this side, whatever it is. I think it's a constant internal battle, it seems like.
Yeah, I really kind of struggled with that this year. That I've noticed, in just terms of like overall like, like purpose and passion. Because like I'm always been like super passionate person, and I've
Yeah.
always had a very clear vision as to like this is where my life is headed.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like I wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and it's like, oh, okay, well I accomplished X, Y, and Z, and then it's like, okay, what's next? And then
Yeah.
you know make another like this is what I want, and then it's like, okay, I accomplished that. What's next?
Yeah.
And then it's just like this constant like feeling of like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yes.
And like this year, I kind of like struggled with it because it was like, well, what is next?
Yeah,
Like
right.
what is my next step?
And do I need a next?
Yeah.
Like
She does.
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I personally do because I always need to be feeling like I'm growing and striving.
And I think at
doing
our
more.
age too, like in your 30s, like it's like we're like, I think once you get to a certain age point, that it also changes the question a little bit. But like I also like I don't want to sit around either all the time.
Yeah.
So like there has to be some kind of balance there of like I don't want to work 80 hours a week, but I also don't want to just work 20 hours a week. So like where do you find that?
What happens at 50? Because I just turned 50 last week.
Congrats.
And I got Meg in my ear. We need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need to get profitable on this one company first.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. How do you juggle all of it? All those. That was one of my questions I wrote down. How do you juggle all the different companies?
a big monthly financial meeting once a month.
Mm-hmm.
We grew remarkable this last year. We spend like $60K a month
Yep.
total spend.
Yep.
And I think we made like $100,000, which is not good. But if you look at we did 2x our marketing early in the year. Like the average on the year was like 2x, but
Yeah.
our last 3 months is like 4.5.
Yep.
So they've turned the corner.
Yeah.
And I've had nothing to do with that company.
Yeah.
And then Meg started going to CG, and I'm like, Meg, why don't you help run that? Like, just go do it.
Yeah.
So that's what she was kind of been doing it. She's the reason I did TV. So like, just keep
Yeah.
fueling and motivating that division.
Yep.
But, financials are a big part of it. So,
Right.
I sold some rentals last year, cash reserves. We still have about $2.5 million. If I scrambled, I could probably find $3 million in cash right
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
The bigger you grow, the more cash reserves you have will make you overcome that.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
But at 150 a clip every quarter for my assisted living.
Yeah.
But the rentals make 50K. My large multifamily deals, we literally pull out 50,000 and move it over every single month this year.
Nice.
So that has helped.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then we have other small little companies that made $50,000 or made $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
So having multiple streams of income
Right.
as you grow into other things is important.
Yeah.
But if you become a realtor and then 6 months later you're like, I'm going to flip a house, and then you stop being a realtor to do this. I've never stopped.
Yeah.
Anytime I stopped flipping houses, I went and did something else to keep replacing my income.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think the core of your question is though, like how he juggles it all is just like the team and staff support that he has
That
behind
is true.
him.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, the first thing that you bit off was the construction business. Was that first, or was it the team that first? I guess being the agents.
The real estate team first, yeah.
Okay, so he established the real estate team, and then now we have agents behind us. We have somebody that's running the team behind it. So it's like, okay, that division is good in theory. So then it's like, okay, the rentals. Now you have an asset manager, you have property managers, you have on-site property managers, and then it's like, okay, they're self-sufficient. Now
Having like the top, like the COO of that company is what we have.
Yeah,
that's
and
huge.
so then it's like, okay, so that division is kind of good. So now Rob can then take his time and go and establish something else.
Right.
And the most recent thing has been the care home facility.
Yeah.
So the care home facility isn't necessarily completely built and structured yet because a lot of your time is still going to that.
Yeah.
But eventually, once that is self-sufficient, then it's like, okay, Rob, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
Like what's your, and just having that team and that staff support behind it, I feel like is what allows him to be able to juggle
true.
all these things and then still creating new businesses and growing that way.
Right.
That's a better answer.
Yeah.
I thought I had to help you out there. You're struggling.
But cash reserves helps too.
Yes.
For sure, yeah. Money does help for sure.
And then Kim's, my sister-in-law, she's basically our, CFO's in charge of finance. So having the good financials and a good understanding of what she's doing is a big role.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's people. So, and we do tend to have a lot of fun. So, Meg and I
see the company kickball games and everything else.
We won. I won.
Are you guys team captains? Is that how it works?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And we picked this year. We had a drawing. We filmed it, like all the drawing,
Oh, okay.
which we couldn't show some people because they took offense. And then Meg didn't. She had some big friends on the company, and she didn't pick them.
Oh, because they weren't good kickball players.
She thought they weren't. It backfired.
Listen,
She had to buy a lot of gifts.
I did have to buy a lot of gifts. We were winning the entire game, literally, and to the point where Rob was starting to get mad because we were destroying them. And then all of a sudden, the rules changed.
The rules changed.
We had a ref, so it was legal.
It was legal.
Yeah, okay.
A real kickball ref.
He was not. She should have gotten a real kickball ref.
Yeah, because the rules
She got
changed.
a-
and then the ref, all of a sudden, I'll allow that. Oh, I allow that. And it's like, what the hell?
She got
their
an
runs counted.
She got an
like,
auto.
every
No,
time
she
they
got an auto. She got an auto mechanic to ref our kickball game. So I don't.
So the thought was, okay, who realistically is going to be able to get off work and do this? And it's going to it has to be somebody that has their own business. And in years prior was Rob's friends.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll reach out to one of Rob's friends, and he agreed to do it. Never again. Never again. He's done.
He couldn't make a call to save his life.
In your favor, he favored
Not on purpose.
the last 2 or 3 innings. He literally just completely favored Rob, and it was they, in my opinion, were cheating, even though they were abiding by the rules.
I'll show you the mementos on the way out the door.
You can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Well, we appreciate you taking time. The 81
Yeah,
was a
man.
mess. Appreciate you coming here.
Yep. All good.
So if people, what kind of coaching, if people wanted to reach out to you, what kind of coaching do you want to coach on? Do you even know yet?
So the basis of it is just I want to create other well-rounded real estate investors.
Yeah.
I don't want to just focus on wholesaling or fix and flip or rentals. I've been doing it 12 years now, so I feel like I can kind of speak to each individual exit strategy. And so my whole goal is, like I said, just creating a well-rounded real estate investor. I want to start them out over here and then, kind of walk them A to Z all the way to so they can thrive and, get by in any market they're in. So that's the most basic answer I could give right now. So ask me again in a couple months when it's done. And
if people see this, reach out to Brandon. He might be able to help you out.
We'll see.
It's rewarding. As you can see, we met one of our agents who's got 2 rentals now. They didn't have that when they came here. So helping people get to a different level is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had several people that I've been able to help over the years in different capacities, and to look back and see them now of some people have taken it and grown it above what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. There's zero jealousy there. It's I want to go up and give the guy a high five and a hug, because I mean, it's just fantastic. So like you said, there's a big reward there for that, which is the main reason I'm getting into it. It's just an easy kind of pathway to kind of start getting some of my knowledge out of my head and being able to pass it along to others. So
well, thanks a lot for coming today.
Yeah, man.